Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats again, and today we are talking with Brayo Bryans. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing excellent. It's nice outside finally, so it's looking more positive.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the winter is behind us.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here today to talk a bit about you, about your music, and kind of what you bring to the table and to the industry. But for those who are new, can you give us a little intro about yourself?
Uh, Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kezalan Koyoyo, artist name Brayo Bryans. Um, uh, I was born and raised in Uganda, East Africa, and now I'm based in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Um, Yes, my background is in human rights. I was in Uganda, even up to now. I've been an LGBT activist, and that's part of the reason why I had to leave Uganda and come here to Toronto for safety from persecution. And yes, and I use my music as a tool of advocacy, entertainment, and also lobbying and sensitizing people about LGBT issues and also empowering LGBT community members about self-acceptance, self-love, and taking care of their mental health and uh, be empowered as a community in
Mm-hmm.
general.
No, and
Yes.
that's definitely very much needed in today's world with everything going on for sure.
Mhm.
So how did you get into music? What did you have a musical family growing up, or did you just something you start to fall in love with?
Well, I did not have a musical family per se to when growing up. Actually, I didn't even know that I could sing or, do music. But how I got into music was through school. I used to do drama. I was in drama class and we rarely did musicals or we rarely had music classes. But the thing with us Africans, music is part of you from
Mm-hmm.
child. Everything is musical. So we grow up, everyone is has this exposure to African traditional music and the love to be happy and dance. Everything is a celebration. So that's how I grew into it. But discovering that I could sing was just one night of a karaoke night out with friends, and I got a song, uh, and that's which I sang and surprised myself
Mm-hmm.
and everyone around me. They're like, "Ooh, you can sing!" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I didn't know I can." So I started singing karaoke as a hobby and hosting karaoke shows in Uganda as well. And from there, I was an activist doing. I was running an NGO, Icebreakers Uganda, which was a community-based uh, LGBT organization that was sensitizing and empowering LGBT people about their fundamental human rights. And of course, giving them access to free health services because that's not a provision that was provided and fighting for acceptance and in the society, given that Uganda is one of the notoriously homophobic countries. And actually, as I speak now, 2 days ago, Parliament just passed the anti-homosexual bill,
Yeah, I
which
saw that
was
actually.
the penalty. Having had all that experience to work with human rights, I noticed that I had this tool. I can sing, but I have these experiences that I go through. Maybe I can write about these experiences and turn them into music and help reach to people and spread the word of what I'm going through and what my community is going through. And surprisingly, it was received well, and I ended up doing a song called Kuchu Anthem, which was adapted by, initially I called it the Children of the Rainbow Flag, but then it was adapted by the Ugandan LGBT movement as the anthem for the movement.
Okay.
So the national LGBT anthem for the Ugandan LGBT movement called Kuchu Anthem. Kuchu means, it's a slang we used to use around straight people so that they don't identify us.
Okay.
It was just slang for LGBT. So that's, and everyone in Uganda now knows Kuchu means LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how my journey started in music. And that's how I started doing music. It wasn't something that, happened once. It's a story. It gradually came on along the way. It didn't just happen once.
Mm-hmm. The love built up for it, I guess, and kind of
Yes. Yes.
took its time in the oven, and then you have a final product.
Yes.
So do you try to mix, like, so your experience in an African culture with music, and then you have experience in like North American, Canadian culture? How is it blending? Do you try to blend things a certain way, or do you try to stick to one genre of music or one culture when you're putting your stuff together?
Actually, funny thing about me, I don't necessarily do culture music. My music is, it's if you go to Spotify and listen to all my music that I've done along the way. They have different uh, genres and different styles,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel I am still discovering the best style that I can do. But for now, right now I'm in a phase whereby I'm doing house dance music, but then I mix in a little bit of my language and a little bit of it, mixing in the Canadian gay culture. They love this up tempo dance music, and of course you have to bring in your home. When there is a song that I released last year with Velvet Code from Sophia's under You Do You Foundation, and it's called Now That I'm Here, which was still talking about my journey from Uganda to here and how I feel alive, that I'm in a safe space. And it has parts whereby the chants are in my African language, my Luganda, which is my mother tongue, and it's a beautiful chant that I had to incorporate into this modern style of music, and so basically I try to mix it up
Mm-hmm.
and have that kind of energy brought to any kind of genre of music that I'm embarking on.
Yeah, like I listened to a few of your things, and I noticed, like, I'm not a musician, but I've listened to more than enough where I can pick out, okay, this sounds a bit like this, and this sounds a bit like this, so I could see where you're trying to blend some of the cultures together, and like the chants, like you said, things like that, and it's your own sound, and it sounds really good.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And we actually got to, like, I spoke with Velvet yesterday actually in an interview, so we were talking a bit about like the role that he brings to the table, and actually the So Fierce Music and the You Do You Foundation, which, how did you originally get involved with them?
Actually, how I got involved with UDU Foundation was through Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to him on social media. Actually, I saw an ad of Sophia's record label.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a newcomer. I got here in 2019, so I've not been in Canada for quite long. And 2019, then COVID hit. So
Made it real interesting.
yeah, so the 2 years I was in lockdown, I was so much online and so fierce. I reached out to them and told them, yeah, I'm a newcomer and I'm an artist who wants to pursue my music, but I can't afford studio time. I can't afford, uh, you know, all the rates like to get a producer and pay them and produce music, because I'm not a producer. I can't play instruments. My only instrument is vocals. So uh, he told me about Sophia's. He told me about You Do You Foundation. And when he had my story, my journey, he told me that, I was one of the candidates who can qualify for a grant that supports me as an upcoming protected person, because I'm a refugee. I'm a protected person under Canadian law, and and I'm in my process of trying to get my permanent residence. But for now, I'm a protected person, and being that, You Do Your Foundation kind of gave me a platform, the ability to get studio time, the ability to create music with top producers like Velvet God, who know the industry well, the Canadian industry and culture and the style of music that's receptive here very well. So we've been working on different music. We are working on an EP that's, I don't know whether I'm supposed to talk about that yet because it's not yet out, but so far we've released, now that I'm here with Velvet, and we are working on new stuff. And so that's how I got to know about You Do You Foundation and what the work they do, supporting LGBT artists who cannot afford to fund their own projects, who don't have even a platform, by giving them a platform, working hand in hand with Sophia's music and promoting our craft.
Yeah, it was nice to hear more about the foundation when I was talking with Velvet yesterday, and now getting to hear your experience with it. It definitely seems like a wonderful place to help the community and help kind of grow people in their music passions for sure.
Mhm. Yes, it is. And especially, for example, if a newcomer like me, whose passion is to spread love through music, uh, I I didn't have a starting point. Where do I start? And foundation has made it possible for me to do that, to have a starting point on how to start my journey as a musician, as an artist in Canada.
Oh, it's definitely great, and like I said, I listened to your music, some of it already, and I'm enjoying it. So it's definitely, it looks like it's going in the right direction for sure.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So how important is it to you to make sure to put social and political issues into your music, since that's your main platform?
Well, it's very important in a way that I've faced persecution. I've gone through atrocities, different atrocities. I've had to deal with depression. I've had to deal with living a life whereby every morning you wake up, you thank God that you've made it alive. Every step you make walking down the street, you always, you know, having that extra sense on your back, like, hey, anything can happen anytime. Living a life in fear all the time. Uh, Having gone through all that, I felt that music was the only thing that was there for me. And listening to other artists like Malkimo, who sang and I can change even if I try. Songs like that, like, kind of gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of hope. And, you know, I saw how powerful they impacted me, the music impacted me, and I felt that if it can impact me in my situation and give me a sense of relief and hope, I think if I do this, it can reach out to bigger, wider audience and impact that person who has no access to facilities, but
Mm-hmm.
because music can penetrate any area, even the worst areas, like countries like Uganda, whereby everything is strict if you identify as gay and everything. But with music, you can still reach that person who doesn't have that access to messages, to media, and be able to understand that I'm not alone and there is hope and there is always light at the end of the tunnel.
No, for sure. And that's a good message to hopefully have people take away from your music too.
Yes. And that's my main aim, my dream, to see that uh, someone understands that, hey, I know my rights. I know who I am. I'm not a, I'm not a, a defect. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a deviant. I'm a person, a human being, and I have rights. And I'm hopeful that it always gets better at the end of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
The challenges I face.
Yeah, I mean, especially in your scenario, coming from the situations, it's always hopeful that the next day is a little bit better than the last one.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do you
And
have? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and of course, when you look at the situation that's happening in Uganda right now the only everyone is, everyone is having tension of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
My inbox, my phones are off the hook the past 2 days. Uh, People are scared. I have a few friends who have been evicted because the law entails that if you are a landlord and you know that you're housing LGBT people, you're bound to imprisonment. You,
Okay.
you know, if you, and then law firms that you can, they are being, the law says that if a law firm kind of uh, represents an LGBT person, they have to pay a fine.
Oh wow.
Media personals are not allowed to promote homosexuality. That's what they say. And if a media house writes positively about LGBT community, it's fined and its license is revoked.
Hmm.
So a lot of things, it's not only affecting the LGBT persons. Many people are contemplating suicide because they have nowhere to go, you know. Mainly the trans friends of mine who can't move on the streets now because they are afraid of mob justice. I have no way of getting funds to eat, or because they
Mm-hmm.
no longer work, they've lost their jobs. you know a lot is happening in the past 2 days, and now imagine what's to come yet. And with all that happening, the only thing that I know that can try to ease the pain that everyone is going through is music. And when someone is going through that hard time, you know, and listens to a song telling them, hey, it's hard right now, but there is hope, just hang in there, fight
Mm-hmm.
on, don't lose the spirit. And it kind of, empowers them, and lets them fight another day, you know.
Yeah, and they definitely need all the extra support they can get right now for sure.
Indeed. Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Do
Yeah.
you find it hard to balance putting too much of your personal self into your music versus keeping, some of your own privacy at hand?
Well, I don't really find that, because yes, there is a part of my life that I share in my craft. However, there is also that personal part of me that I keep to myself. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can never give your 100% of yourself to anything. because you need that percentage, that small percentage for yourself to recharge and re-energize so that you can do more work and be more productive. So I definitely learned at the earlier stage that you can't put in 100% of your personal life in a craft, because you will end up depressed and
And you get burnt out really quick
you
that way.
get burnt out really quick. So yes, definitely I talk about current issues. I talk about stuff that I know that will positively affect someone who has gone through a situation. And of course, there are situations that I go through and I'm like, no, this is me, this is my own. Yes.
Is there advice you were given when you were coming up in music that really kind of held hard for you?
um I wouldn't say that there was advice given. I kind of had to find my own way most
Okay.
times. I tried to do music in Uganda, and I had to do it my own way because no one was willing to work with a well-known LGBT activist. All the promoters, the radio stations, they could not, promote my stuff because they're like, hey, you're talented, but we can't really work with you because we don't want to lose fans. We don't want to lose followers because the majority of the community are homophobes
Yeah.
and don't understand LGBT issues. So I had to learn everything, through life experience on my own. And that's where I learned to do everything on my own. And figured it out. Sophia's and You Do Your Foundation is the first area that I've worked with people on music. And of course, when I moved here, I joined a group, a boy band, which is a group of 5 gay men singing cover songs of girl groups. And
Okay.
it's called Manifesto.
I've actually heard that name before, I think.
Yes, Manifesto, and we kind of, and that's another, area that I've been able to put, it's more of a fun up tempo, we sing these Spice, cover songs from Spice Girls involved, which is so different, totally different from what I'm doing as an individual artist, which is more political and more of original stuff compared to the cover songs that our favorite songs that, like I said, the power of music, how it revitalizes us. So when I'm with Manifesto, I'm like, having this kind of fun, you get to play dress up and
Yeah, it's a little bit more
yes,
put some different energy into it.
exactly. And it kind of balances me out
Yeah.
and balances my craft out a bit, which is beautiful.
Now, is there musicians that are out there today that are inspiring you to make music? Like, is there some musicians out there that you love listening to that just give you that extra motivation?
I'm an 80s 80s person. Most of the times I'm inspired by musicians that I grew up listening to in the
Okay.
US, but like Lionel Richie, the likes of Billy Ocean, Madonna, the likes of Whitney, Mariah, Celine. So yeah, I'm that kind of.
Hey, I love some of those too. I have on my playlist now, I have probably every one of those guys.
Yes, but if you're to talk about musicians who are doing amazingly currently, I'll look at you know musicians like Rihanna, musicians like Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, of course. Though I'm not a big beehive, but I love, I love some of the music that Beyonce has released and
Hmm.
are so empowering. Uh, like I've had songs like from Frank Ocean. Uh, you know, these are artists that are releasing music that's talking about, that's trying to empower people, and I relate to that a lot.
Yeah, it has a story behind it.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of Shake Your Bam Bam or do this kind of music. I'm more of music that I can relate to, and music that is has a message of empowerment and that can make someone feel a bit better and, you know,
Hmm, for sure.
yeah, pass
Now,
through a tough situation.
yeah. Now, what do you think of the music community, let's say in Toronto where you are, now that everyone's come out of COVID and releasing all kinds of new stuff and live shows? What's your thoughts on the music community out there?
I First and foremost, as someone who just got into the industry, I feel that Canada has been, underrated when it
Hmm.
comes to talent. In Africa, when we grew up, we thought every artist is coming from the US,
Yeah, Canada's got a lot of names.
you know? And then I get here and most of my favorite artists like Shania, Twine, uh, you know, Brian Adams, Celine, Weekend. These
Hmm.
are artists who are Canadian, and back home we're like, they're Americans and everything. Of
Yeah.
course, Canada is North America, but I feel that the talent is underrated. A lot of amazing artists, the
Mhm.
drag queens from Sophia's who are doing their original stuff. Uh, Kind of, blew my mind because they're so amazing. They're
Mhm.
talented, and they don't only lip sync, they can actually sing.
Yeah, I've seen some of those and it's like, wow, okay.
Yes, so the music industry is vibrant, but you know a lot needs to be done so that all these talents that are Canadians are not swallowed into the American music industry,
That's
entertainment.
for sure. Yeah.
And Canada holds on its own, has really huge talent and vibrant music scene.
Hmm. What would you say to somebody trying to get into the industry now with using some of the experiences you've had? What would be advice you would give someone coming into the industry now?
Don't expect too much.
Okay.
Be patient, and if something is right, it's it will come to pass, because sometimes we get into the music, we get into something, a project, and we put our all energies and expectations and end up being discouraged.
Hmm.
You come across a lot of no's, but that does not mean that you should stop pursuing your dream of making it here. But lots of opportunities are there. It's just having that right moment that it will happen. So
That's
that's
for sure.
it's just be persistent, be hopeful, and then expect a lot of no's.
Yeah, I mean, that's the music industry, right? In a nice
Yeah.
tidy sum there.
Yes, expect that, but that's not the end of it all.
Hmm.
Get the right avenue to hone your craft.
Yep. That's pretty much all the notes that I wrote down for talking with you today. Is there any final words of wisdom or tidbits you might want to leave to readers, and where can everybody find you on social media?
Well, you can find me on social media under artist name, Brayo Bryans. Brayo Bryans everywhere. So I made it easier for people, which is Brayo Bryans. Brayo
Perfect.
Bryans. If you Google Brayo Bryans, you'll get all my socials. That's me. Like, I don't have like, oh, this one is different from this. No, it's all Brayo Bryans,
Hmm.
and you'll get that.
Is there, so if someone's listening to you for the first time, is there a first song that you recommend they listen to?
Well, I would recommend Now That I'm Here, because it's my latest song, uh,
Hmm.
by Velvet Code, and it's on Spotify, and it's an amazing tune. And of course, I have other tunes as well that are on Spotify, like Closer, but you'll find them. The moment you search Brayo Bryans, you'll find them. But, you know, listen to Now That I'm Here and listen to Love Yourself. Those are like my top
Your top ones that you like?
songs for now.
Okay.
Of course, Closer is like my another favorite, but because the title is in Uganda, I know it might be difficult for people to search. But the moment you search Brayo Bryans on Spotify and or any other platform, you'll see the song. It's there. So
Well, we'll make sure to link your Spotify in the description so people have an easy time to find it.
fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, it was an awesome time getting to chat with you today, and I learned a lot more about you, and you made a new fan with me with your music. So
Oh, thank you.
I hope we get to have a conversation again sometime in the future. I'm always available to chat more and catch up with you when new stuff comes out.
I hope we get to chat again. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you for hosting me.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm glad we did this.
For sure. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. I have a packed schedule, so I'm gonna have to start preparing for my next one, but we will connect again for sure.
All right, then. Thank you so much and good day.
Bye now.
Bye.